My name is Akil Patterson, host of the Big 3 Me podcast powered by G Media. On this week's episode, we have illaDaProducer, founder of Who's Who NFT project, Discord group, and a Bored Ape Yacht Club maximalist. Well, you can't be a maximalist if you just love art. He's an artist that loves Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, but more importantly, he's an artist willing to listen, understand, and I think his message will resound and resonate with many of you. So as always, welcome to the podcast. Let's get to it. We're back. Thank you, Illa, for joining me here on the Big 3 Me podcast powered by G Media. One of the reasons I wanted to have you on today is not only are you a multi-platinum award-winning artist, but you're helping other artists understand what the NFT space is about. You've got the Who's Who NFT project that you've got, the Who's Treehouse NFT project, which made it all the way to #1 on OpenSea not too long ago. And you've worked with some of the biggest names in the game, biggest players, hands down. And so with that being said, I know that there's a lot going on in the Bored Ape Yacht Club space, but more importantly, you guys in the Bored Ape Yacht Club, the artists that are in the Bored Ape Yacht Club have moved NFTs into a new stratosphere. The culture has brought NFTs to the forefront. And talk about your segue into the NFT space and how the culture of hip hop has really brought in this new paradigm, this opportunity for artists to finally encapsulate and earn revenue off of their products.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, I got into NFTs, I think it was last August because I had gotten into crypto. Before that, I think I got into crypto end of 2020. And got into NFTs last summer because crypto was taking a dive. It was a bearish cycle for like 3 months, the whole summer. I was pissed off. I'm sitting here seeing NFTs go crazy, but my bag is down, so I'm flooding the NFTs hard. Like, oh, this is a scam. This is a fad. Like, these are JPEGs. I could right click save it. I was one of them. And then this is the first month, and the second month, and I see an all-time high, and I'm seeing that people multiplying their ETH bag. So I'm like, all right, this thing ain't going nowhere. So I was having these thoughts, and then Steph Curry and Visa. Steph Curry bought a Bored Ape, Visa bought a CryptoPunk like the same day. And that was it for me. That was a signal I needed. Okay, somebody from the culture got one of these, and then institution got it. So that was a signal for me, and I jumped right in. And unfortunately, I jumped in when the Mutants premiered that weekend, and I bought the top. Oh. So that was the valuable lesson when you buy the top. Like, and you know, shout out to my brother Pooh Bear. He's one of the biggest songwriters in the world. I don't know how many Grammys he's won, probably like over half a dozen. And he's written all of Justin Bieber's biggest records. He's the person who got me into crypto. So he taught me, one of the first things he taught me was, it's not a loss until you sell. So I'm diamond handed. He's like, yo, don't put all your money in and put enough that if you lose it, it's whatever. So that's what I always did. So long story short, when I bought the top on Mutants, I just held. And that forced me to go to reverse engineer back into the community. And that's when it hit me like, yo, these people are dope. These are all like-minded people. There ain't a bunch of like rich guys. These are guys, regular guys are still eating ramen, but now have this 6-figure asset within 2 months. And that blew my mind. Then I started digging deeper and I found out about the IP, and then I was hooked. Because as a creative, to have that IP and be able to do whatever you want with it right away, I'm like, man, as a musician, I'm finna make a band like the Gorillaz. Yeah. Out the gate, I thought that like the first week. So I was hooked right then.
You know, it's interesting. You said, you're out to make, he's about to make a band. So he's about to make 1,000, 100,000, right? So you're about to make these stacks, but at the same time, in the industry, you stopped and you said, wait a second, I can own my craft for life, as opposed to piecemealing it out and getting 50 cents on the dollar for the first year. And then after that, I'm getting a penny, half a penny, you know, for some of my talent to come back to me in my residuals. You basically said, you know, what was the old thing? Funk that.
Yeah, I saw the opportunity with the blockchain and the smart contract. Because at first I saw what it was for crypto, but then when it came to artists and royalties and getting paid royalties in perpetuity for the rest of your life, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is finally a way to cut out the middleman and to say, yo, I ain't got to mess with Spotify with their 0.0003 like on a penny.
Yeah.
Like, so
like where it, like I've heard that if they don't give you so my neighbor, he's a writer. My neighbor's an old writer, and when I mean old writer, he's like 90, but he tells me now he can't get his royalty checks until they reach like a certain limit. Like, so if they don't go over like, you know, $500, he's like, I don't get a royalty check.
Yeah, that's how it is in music.
Yeah, like they just stop paying you. Like, oh, we're just gonna hold on to your money until it hits a limit. It's like, nah, I need that 550. You know, like I need my money, right?
Yeah, if it's less than $1,000, you have $999.99 they won't mail to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's ridiculous how an artist at one point has to beg for their money. Like, nah, I'm fighting you for my money because you don't know the circumstances. I mean, I'm more of I'm a prude when it comes to my finances. So like, I'm like, no, I need my money, not because I have anything to do with it, but because it's my money. You know,
I'm mine. I don't care. Yeah, it's mine. If it's mine, I want it. I don't want a penny of yours, but I want all mine.
Yeah. Like Aretha Franklin, they used to say that she used to be like, nah, I want my money. She like, you had to have 10,000 cash for her to be in the room. And then if you showed her the cash, then she was like, all right, we can talk. But after that, no. I mean, so I know you and I met in these spaces, and I want to say I give you mad props because, you know, there are people. Listen, I'm a straight to the point. I went to law school because there were people in this world that just pissed me off. I was like, I will go spend the money just to tell somebody go F yourself, right? I'm petty like that, folks. I'm petty. But you sat in these spaces during this drama around the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and you asked probably the most important question that I heard nobody truly asking about all this racism stuff. And somebody said, you just simply asked them like, so when did a prison suit become racism towards Black people? And the person couldn't answer. And you were like, exactly. So when is a prison suit just indicative of me and you in jail and not all the other people that are in jail wearing it? I mean, talk about where that mindset comes from and how you can just, and you can be calm, cool, and collective about asking such an important question. Like, look, if you can call somebody racist, you can call them racist, but have some evidence or proof or talk about like the subject matter behind what you think racism is.
Yeah, man, it's easy for me to stay calm because I come from the hood, man. I come from situations that I didn't think I was gonna make it up out of. You know what I'm saying? And I was one of them cats that didn't think I was gonna make it past 25 because I was taking so many damn chances. Yeah. And I was taking penitentiary chances, life chances. So when I'm on Twitter, I could remain super calm because I've had to go to war, real beef with real people. So Twitter to me is like I can always stay calm. You know what I'm saying? And you know, by the grace of God and by the help of my grandma and my mom, I'm highly intelligent. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't let the calmness fool you because you don't want to poke the bear. But in front of that, all the rage and violence that I could take it to, there's somebody who uses their brain first. Because at the end of the day, I think I pray every morning and I pray every night. And I ask God to keep me out of situations where I could lose my freedom or lose my life. You know what I'm saying? And I've done that since I made it past 25, because I seen it was a bigger purpose for me. And then when I had my daughter, it was really like, I thank God for every blessing. So now I'm blessed, right? I don't work with Eminem. I got 12 times platinum Grammy nominated. Still, I work with Scott Storch, one of the greatest producers of all time. I'm highly blessed. So when somebody comes in a room and says something that's insensitive or triggering, and they don't know that they're being like that, it's time for me. That's a moment of education. Because if they come in and they know they're on that type of time and they saying, oh, F this, I'm a nigger, this, then it's a different person gonna come at you. But if he came in here and think he was proving a point, like, oh, yo, boy apes are racist because they got prison jumpsuits on apes. I'm like, yo, my man, like, what'd you just say? Like, since when does prison jumpsuits mean black people? Oh, well, no. You're putting words in my mouth. No. I'm stopping you because you said something that's triggering to me. Mm. So then he goes into, oh, no, well, I heard that in the room and deflection. I'm like, well, guess what? You just came in here and said some racist ass shit, thinking you fighting racism. And he ain't the first person I had to stop and do that to. Mm. And that's why this situation with Bored Apes and the accusations, it's dangerous because they're weaponizing race. And if it's me and you talking about it, we don't know how to talk to each other. Yeah. But it's people who ain't black coming in trying to fight the black fight and saying racist shit. I'm like, yo, man.
I think, listen, bro, I feel you on that because there's time and time again, you enter spaces, right? And I make no bones about it. My time in ball. Well, shut up, girl. Sorry, Alexa likes to have conversations before I actually tell her to. But when I fight fights and being out of Baltimore and having my friends there and watching people come and go as I did, in my humble opinion, I also recognize that there's a lot of people, especially in this NFT space, that just don't know. They are oblivious to everything other than their bags. Like other than their money, like, oh, well, it's just my money. And I look, I'm not trying to flood anybody's bag. I'm not trying to mess with anybody's bag because I want everybody to win. But at the end of the day, how can you want somebody to win if you don't actually know what they stand for? And especially around this conversation around the Bored Ape Yacht Club and potential racism being thrown around, where I'm like, well, is it racist to have apes and lions and tigers and bears? Because everybody uses animals. And I'm just confused. Like, so where are we drawing the line at with racism as opposed to, okay, the project's just good, or the project just has too much juice and somebody's trying to make another dollar off of it? I mean, because that's what I'm noticing. There's a lot of money in the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And so somebody is like, yo, I'm going to exploit that money. Is that what's going on here? I don't own the ape. So
I think it's somebody trolling that is known for trolling, putting a battery in a bunch of people's backs and weaponizing race and weaponizing black folks to fight some fight. You know what I'm saying? That goes in all different directions. IP, you think the black folks that are speaking on this shit give a fuck about IP or like anything else? All they care about is, is this shit raising the black folks? And he using that as a means to push some troll to for me, it looks simple, just like you said. He's a Jewish gentleman, and it was started off as his problem is anti-Semitic. It wasn't getting enough steam, so he threw the black thing in there because he know we're gonna jump out the window when you throw race at us, anything. And I know there's black folks, and I know that when they seen it, they're like, no, I can't rock with that because it's just monkeys. I don't rock with nothing with monkeys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But they didn't come back and attack the project as racist. They were like, nah, this ain't for me, right?
No, they're like, nah, that ain't for me. Yeah. Some black folks is like, yo, I don't like the fact they're using gold teeth because it's a monkey. So it's the same thing. Like, yo, it's the fact that it's a monkey, and then there's gold diamond teeth. Oh no, hell no. But at the end of the day, I was in rooms talking about that over 6 months ago. All black folks in the room, and we had this discussion. And it comes from me as somebody who's made it. So some people are like, oh, you protecting your bag, and then other black folks got on stage like, bro, I brought this on day one. And I'm like, okay, see, like, are they protecting their bag? When this project launched, it was a few $100s. What bag was there to protect on day one? You know what I'm saying? So
what about people just seeing themselves in the project? Like, yo, here's a homie with a gold chain and I rock a gold chain.
Man, no lie, when I saw the Bored Apes, I wanted to get a diamond grill ape because I got diamond teeth. I got a $20,000 pair of diamond teeth, and I grew up in Florida. Last 15 years I've been in South Florida. I had gold teeth, bro. Ever since I was 18, I had gold grills. Ever since I was 18, I done lost more, like 4 or 5 of them. These diamond ones I ain't losing because they too much money. You know what I'm saying? But
I had a homie that played college football where he was the same way. He came up from South Florida, threw them things in, lost them, flipped the out on our train. It was like, where are my teeth? Where my grill?
Yeah, flip out. You got to go buy another one. It's a process. So yeah, like, no lie, like, I seen when I saw them, it didn't trigger me. And I'm not somebody you could buy. You can't buy me, bro, because I come from a third world country, from Guyana, South America. And then I moved to Brownsville, Brooklyn. And then from there, I moved to Florida. And when I got to Florida, I had to fight rednecks all the time. I thought they was going to throw the N-word out. So I wasn't behind a keyboard, like, I'm an activist, but I'm on a keyboard. No, I was on the front lines. I'm a soldier. I've been fighting these motherfuckers. Yeah. So ain't no dollar amount that's gonna, and I made my money outside of this space. So it's not like I'm dependent on no Bored Ape to feed my family, or else I'd have sold it.
That point right there. That point.
Like, I would have sold that shit at 500 racks if it was to protect the bag. Like, I did everything to protect the bag, but by holding it past 500,000. So, but you gotta understand, when people get into an echo chamber and it's being sensationalized, and there's people who really feel a way. That's what thing, when I go in these rooms, I tell people, like, listen, man, I'm here and I'm empathetic, because I can't, just because I feel this way doesn't mean that your feelings ain't valid. And I never do that. And there's been a lot of these rooms where people are arguing, trying to prove somebody or gaslight them, like, your feeling don't matter, my opinion is right. Just because you don't see it my way, you're wrong. And that's bullshit. That's why this shit has gotten so toxic.
You know, I tell, you know, I really don't, I don't care what people's opinions are. I don't. I just like facts. I'm straight up to folks. I tell them straight to their face, whether it's on the street. See, I think, and that's something that people also got to recognize. Listen, you might be tough on Twitter, but I'll pull up. That's where I'm from. I'm from a community that's like, yo, pull up. You got a problem? Pull up. If you can't squash it, then you know what's next.
Yeah, these hands work.
Yeah, try work. Jesus, baby. Try Jesus.
Don't try me. Like,
I throw hands.
I tell you.
Like, and that's the sad part, is like, a lot of people during this COVID, they got real comfortable just talking any way they want to folks. And I'm like, look, this is why I think keyboard warriors in this crypto space, they're gonna meet real folks in real life. And there's going to be, and I'm not saying me, but there will be ramifications for how people have talked to one another, how they've interacted in business. I mean, the deception, the pure deception that has occurred from some of these projects is just awful. Like, I'm like, yo, if you knew it was a rug pull, why didn't you just tell people, look, this is a project with no utility? Like, I'm watching folks try to, you know, and that's what really gets me about people that, you know, that individual I was talking, they give that scammer talk, because people are stupid enough to be like, they hype things up so much, and they're like, yeah, I got to buy that. I'm like, yo, he didn't say nothing for 15 minutes. I've been doing a lot of research. I've been listening. Hold on. You've been listening and doing research. What kind of research did you do? I mean, that was the question you ask people. You're like, what kind of research are you doing? Oh, I'm listening. Be like, that ain't research. And you're saying that as a dude from a third world country and from the streets. Like, yo, listen to me in spaces is not doing research. Talk about how you do your research on how you built your Who's Who Treehouse project, and why you were excited about getting that launched, because again, it made it all the way up to #1 on OpenSea real quietly.
Yeah, man, I just studied the people that came before me, Spotty Wi-Fi, Latasha, a lot of dope artists that I've seen putting out their art and doing it in real creative ways and benefiting. Like, Latasha was selling her videos for over 15,000 and people were getting free on YouTube. So I'm like, damn, like, I got to figure this thing out. So when I built WhoWho's, I was also, you know, sitting studying all the projects, and that was when it was all the rug pulls, all the scams, all the roadmaps that had no, like, not even the team to see it into fruition. No one near the team that could see it in fruition. So I was like, all right, when I build a project, I want a real utility. And when I think utility, it's something that solves a problem. So I'm like, all right, I see a problem in my life where everybody wants to send me beats, everyone wants to do this, everyone wants to do a song, everyone wants me to listen to a song, and I can't be a million places at one time. So I'm like, what I can do is I could tokenize myself. And then when I do that, then I could put my music on an NFT project, use that NFT as a way, as a membership, but also as a means of artists to get a beat from illaDaProducer, and then record a song to that beat, submit it to me. I listen to it. If it's dope, I actually put it in front of the biggest labels, publishers, A&Rs, managers. If you wanted to, on games or movies, try to get it synced through my publisher. So it's I use an NFT to give artists from around the world a platform to get themselves heard. Nobody ever did anything like that.
Bro, that's just that's listen, that's the culture leading the charge right there. Like, you basically said, like, okay, instead of, you know, back in the day, sitting out in front of like my studio waiting for me at 3 o'clock in the morning to come out with a mixtape, you can purchase the NFT and then we can see if we vibe or not, right? Like, you don't have to stand outside in the middle of the winter. Again, I think it's still, I give everybody who's ever done that mad respect, because that's how a lot of great artists made it to where they're at. But we are in a new world. And guess what? You just basically said, I'll crack the code for y'all. Invest in yourself, invest in me. I'll get your tape to somebody. And guess what? I'm not going to exploit you, because I'm not going to say the artist's name, because well, you don't know. I used to manage a couple artists back in the day. And there was an artist out of Atlanta who would be like, yo, I'll put you on my next mix CD for like 10 stack. And a couple of artists were like, yo, we got to give him this money. We're going to get on his mix. I'm like, yo, we ain't giving that dude no money. Why? Because he's just going to put us on a mix CD that he's going to put out, but nobody's going to listen to it. And then that's it. You just gave him 10 stack instead of saying, okay, now you can use the beat, because they want your beats anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like, fine, if I like your music, I'm going to put you in front of my people, because it's both you and I making money together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, man, like, talk about that. Talk about why you are giving people the opportunity to make money with you.
I mean, to me, that's Web3. That's Web3. Web3 is like, you get to participate. You get to grow with the business. You get to interact with illaDaProducer 3 times a week on Spaces. You know what I'm saying? You get to jump in the Discord and collaborate with other like-minded individuals who are trying to make it in music. So you guys, all that does is make you better. You know, and this is all things I learned from being a Bored Ape member.
Yeah,
it's community, it's real Web3, letting your giving the IP to the holders of your NFT to actually build businesses on top of this IP while you're building to be the biggest brand in the world. You know what I'm saying? I always look at it as going to Disney World, going on a ride and then going through the gift shop and then picking up a Mickey Mouse, and they tell you, okay, you can take that Mickey Mouse, make songs with it, put it on movies, do your own movies with it, do a video game, put it on merch. And meanwhile, we still gonna be Disney cranking shit out and adding value to your Mickey Mouse. Mm. So when I saw that, it's glaring to me, man. So I had to include the same type of mentality into my project.
Brother, I'm just going to say this now. I think you are one of the more intelligent people that I have met in this crypto space. I really do believe that. The fact that you were figuring this out, you were studying, you were learning, those are things that are important and impactful to me. But do you think the culture is now bigger than the racism that is tied to these Bored Apes in theory? Do you think the culture is bigger than just Bored Apes? Do you think it's like the Black, indigenous people, the people from all over the world, from from you being Guyanese yourself, in the southern part of Florida, there are other indigenous folks down there. Like, do you think the culture is now in this space going, now we don't care about your racism? What we care about is owning our brands, owning our likenesses, owning our stuff.
I mean, Black folks, brown folks ain't never gonna stop caring about racism, because racism, unfortunately, is ingrained in this country's soil, the fabric of this country. But on the flip side of that, we are highly focused on taking ownership back, finally owning some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like Web3 enables that because there's no gatekeeping. The most valuable thing in Web3 isn't the JPEGs, isn't like the community is very valuable, but even more than that is free information. Information is spread freely from the top down. There's guys who really have knowledge on stocks, bonds, blockchain, this, that. And there was literally, if you DM somebody, they will teach you because they're excited to have you be as knowledgeable as possible so you can be as successful as possible in this space, which is crazy. If you think about knowledge is power. Knowledge has been the most powerful thing before we were still trading goats and chickens and shit. But that knowledge was like only the kings and the certain people could have certain knowledge. It didn't flow downhill. In this space, this knowledge being given freely, constantly, and encouraged. Like, yo, come to this room. Like, you know, I wish more people retweet the room so we could spread this knowledge so more people can get this information. Retweet the room. That's what retweet the room is. It's not clout. It's get more people in here, especially if we sharing information.
Well, man, I got to say, I appreciate you taking these last 30 minutes to spend with me here on the Big 3Me podcast powered by G Media. Any final words before we go? Anything you want to tell folks where they can pick up your NFT, where they can listen to you on your next spaces? Just anything you want to say.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me in this space. And I just want everybody to come into this space, do your own research. You know what I'm saying? Don't take nobody's advice as financial advice. Do your own research. If you got to jump in before jump in, if you want to put a toe in, put a toe in, then another toe until you're comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen to people who claim they're experts. You're the expert because this is Web3 where it's self-sovereign. So get as much information as possible. Jump in as many rooms as possible that are sharing information that is valuable to you. If you're a musician or a rapper, singer, songwriter, you could check out Who's Treehouse at WHOWHOS.io, and we're still minting. And you could also get it on OpenSea. And if you just want to come and share your music, we do music spaces 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific. So. And I'm always available, you know, just tap in, DM me, you know what I'm saying? And if it's some information you want to get from me, I share it freely.
Well, thank you, brother. I'm going to give a shout out to Prophets. Like they told me to DM you like, yo, this brother is smart. So shout out to Prophets. And for everyone watching, my name is Akil Patterson, host of the Big 3Me, powered by G Media. You have a great day and an even better tomorrow.